Hey guys, what is up? This is Toids DIY Audio with Mr. 11K Justin. He jumped from like 3K to 11K overnight. We got the People's Champ Hi-Fi Vega. He is the champ in his own mind. And we have Chris Perez from Parts Express. We're super excited. Everyone, Chris Perez gets to say hi first, then you guys can get your hat in the ring. Chris, come say hi to everyone.
Well, nice to meet everyone. I'm Chris Perez. I'm the speaker building product manager at Parts Express. Just do a lot of the design of the kits and stuff like that.
He's being very modest. He is really amazing, and he has some really cool products that we're going to get a first look at. You guys don't even know that these are coming out. You'll be some of the first people to know about these products, and he's going to show you some really cool things, such as an M-Mag motor, which is awesome. We'll explain why that's cool. But before we do that, Justin, Hi-Fi Vega, say hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up? What's going on?
All right. Well, hey, guys, I want to start off by telling you guys that before we get started, Parts Express was nice enough to give you guys, everyone listening and everyone watching, a coupon code. So you get $10 off your next $100 purchase at Parts Express. How long does that go for, Chris?
March 31st. So got about a week.
A little over a week, and that code is advice. If you can't spell it, put it in your phone. It'll spell it for you. But advice for like sound advice.
And it's not just for y'all. Like, share it with everybody you know. Get everybody who wants to go to Parts Express and needs a coupon code. Go, hey, I got one for you right here.
Yes, and we put it in the link of the video. We also put it in the chat. So make sure to use that if you guys need anything from Parts Express, because you might even want one of these boomboxes. So for those of you who don't know, we just did a boombox build off. Chris, we're going to put you on the spot right away.
All right.
You saw all three of the boom boxes. Guys, why don't you pull up a picture of your boom box too? You saw all three of the boom boxes. Which one, which one did you like the design the best out of all of them?
It's a tough call.
Well, talk about all of them if you want.
Go ahead. Talk about all of them. Take a minute to give pros and cons of each one and talk it up a little bit before you say the one you like the most. And in the process, I can find my photos and we'll pull up one for you to look at.
He's just hoping that you'll
pull up photos before I got online.
All right, Chris, go ahead. I'm sorry, we're cutting you off.
But now, Nick, you just kind of went all out on yours, pretty much to the extreme, which I like. Thing looks great, professional job. I'm a fan of epoxy and neon, of course. Pretty much everyone would be.
We see the LEDs behind you, so.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna pretend like that might not have gone into my thought process. I know you like LEDs.
No, I like lights, but then with Justin's, I'm a fan of raw wood. The laser etching's pretty neat. I love the high tech stuff. That was awesome, and turned out great. And it's Rob, right?
Yeah,
Rob.
Vega.
Yeah. I'm an old school car audio guy. Honestly, I've tried to finish speakers before with stickers, but this was back in the 90s where I didn't have Amazon. I couldn't buy a lot of stickers, so I was getting them out of those quarter machines. And I'll tell you what, after a year of hundreds of dollars worth of stickers, I gave up.
Yeah.
And then what was that, 1/0 handle that you made? That's pretty awesome.
Not just any CCA handle.
Yeah, it's a CCA. It's a bit of an inside joke, yeah.
Lightweight.
Yeah.
You're going to test out the crimps because that thing ain't light.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
We were actually just talking about that.
Yeah, I do like a lot about all of them.
Oh, and by the way, guys, you can still go vote go vote. If you haven't voted yet, it's in my community tab. Make sure you vote for one of them. At the end of the show, we'll tell you who the People's Choice Award is. This award right here is from Chris is talking for all of Parts Express. So whatever he says, all of Parts Express is chosen. He is.
Oh man, I haven't talked to anyone else about this yet.
It's too late. You've now decided for everyone at Parts Express. So no pressure at all.
I'd say if the three of them were lined up in a room, I would probably go back to Rob's more.
Oh,
again, just out of the nostalgia of that. I know how much, like I said, with the stickers and everything, I know how much work's involved in that, which doesn't seem like a lot, but man, it can be tedious. That's how many stickers you put on that thing.
I ordered 600 and this is how many I have left. out of 600. So I don't know how many's in here, but I
Probably a few hundred.
I probably at least put like 400 on there or better.
And I know it's going to wear well. That thing's built to carry. So honestly, I kind of like yours the best.
Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. That's what I like about the sticker, because it looks cool even when they start to wear off.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna take the beating.
And even if you want to, you could stick like a matte clear coat over it to like make it last even longer if you wanted to.
Yeah, I put a UV resistant clear coat on there just so the stickers wouldn't fade. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You know what you've got to remember is that we're calling it stickers, but we're being crude. I think the technical term for what Rob has done is called decoupage.
Decoupage,
yeah.
I mean, so this is high art, and if you put a clear coat on it, so it's nice and protected and smooth to the touch, so you can't feel those stickers. That's straight up decoupage. This is artistic stuff.
I will say that to Chris's point, I used the die smaller on these crimps, and I crimped that Joker two times both ways. I was like, I don't, because this box is actually a little heavier than I expected.
Yeah, it's not a light kit.
Gordy, we will get to that later in the show, but we're not going to talk about it here. Oh, Scott from Power Hog Audio. Thank you for that, guys. Once again, I want to give Power Hog Audio, once again, a huge shout out. If you guys have not seen Power Hog Audio, go to their website. They have an awesome new website, new car audio startup. We love what they're doing over there, so check it out. They said, "What's up, fellas? Hope all is well." He did say I cheated, so we still like you, Scott.
I will say that out of the three, if I was walking into a store and I was going to buy one for myself, I would buy Justin's.
Oh,
which sounds crazy, but that's more like if I want it in my house, that's more the style. Even though I built this ridiculous thing over here, that if I was going to use it every day, I would get something like that. The executive, and Nick mentioned this earlier, but all of our builds kind of fit the name of the Boomboxes if you really think about it.
Yeah, actually it does.
And that's exactly what I was going for. My thought was, what can I do that is, I was shooting for elegant and understated. Unfortunately, the way to win the contest is to be loud and obnoxious.
And have you learned it from YouTube? That's YouTube Rules 101.
Oh, sorry, I might have peaked at 11,000 because I don't think I can be much more loud nor obnoxious.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll each spend a couple minutes on our build. We'll talk about the build itself, the build process, things that we liked and didn't like about the kits and the build itself. And then we're going to let Chris answer this question right here, where Colby says, "Hey, any thoughts on which box sounds best?" Now, I know Justin can talk about two of them, but Chris, you can probably talk about all three on which one you think sounds the best here in a minute, don't you think, or no?
Yeah, I can.
All right, so we'll let's first talk about each one. So, Hi-Fi Vega, what did you like about the kit? What didn't you like about the kit? What were some of the problems, things that you incurred, and what do you think about it overall? Well, now you have the blast box, right?
Yeah, the blast box. And me and Justin had the same problem. We didn't follow the instructions. And we glued the sides and the back first and didn't put on the front baffle at the same time. If you do that, you're going to have to persuade it a little bit, as you've seen me with the rubber mallet and the clamps and Justin with the clamps. So definitely follow those instructions. Don't just think, oh, I'm a pro, I already know what I'm doing, because you definitely want to follow the instructions. Another mistake that I made was putting in the mid-range before I put in the DC jack, which you're supposed to screw in through the mid-range hole. Well, I got a little bitty screwdriver, one of the little ratchet screwdrivers there. I had to do one of those. And then one other thing I had to do was add a little bit of silicone to the DC jack because I was getting a little air leakage. That was actually the only thing I didn't see mentioned in the whole spiel that I might have added. But as far as the sound, I think the mids sound really, really nice. It's bass heavy for sure. You can tone it down with the bass knob, and the tweets roll off a little much for me. I'd like them a little bit brighter, but that's the balance of it all with the tuning. It sounds great, and it's I mean, it's got bass.
So sorry, Chris. I guess you look like a pale Snoop Dogg.
Oh, no.
I've heard that before.
Well, yeah. So what you're saying is when the bass would hit, you would get air coming out the power port, which obviously wouldn't be an issue if you're plugged into power, but when you're on battery, that becomes an issue. So you had to put like some glue or silicone around that to make sure that the air wouldn't go through that, right?
Well, yeah, it was just you could hear the air, like almost like it was boarded.
It's leaking through the
yeah, but
through
that
the
could have been because
power
maybe I didn't get it tight enough with it. Me having to reach in there and doing one of these numbers, so that could totally be me.
It's possible. I've had power ports do that before too, so it could be the power port too. What about you, Justin? Man, tell us about your build, man. I'm excited to hear about yours because yours is the executive and it fits your style.
Yeah. So if you've watched my channel much lately, you know that I've kind of got a thing for bare wood. And we talked about this before in a previous show. The thing I don't like is the plywood edge grain. And we passed these boxes. It was like, oh, great, plywood edge grain. And so I thought about ways I could possibly kind of like diminish that or cover that up. But I said, you know what? I'm just going to embrace it. And I want to clear it, to do a clear coat of some type. It's Minwax polyacrylic on the exterior.
Hey, Chris,
so I can highlight the wood.
Sorry, not Chris. Justin, do you want to show a picture of yours?
I would love to. Let me see if I can. Of course, you can see it back here. It's a little bit dark. Let me see if I can share the screen. I've been trying to share the screen, and it won't show the window screen. So I'm just going to do a full screen share and pull it up and hope that.
That's actually what Parts Express was thinking, Jesse. Jesse said that's a sweet aperiodic membrane feature.
Yeah. So
so here we go. Got for that.
Got a picture here of the box now. Can y'all see it?
No, Nick, I have to share it on his.
Can see
it. Nick's got to share it.
There we go. Yeah.
So here it is. And where to start? So a couple things about this box that I think make it really interesting. The mids and highs are the coaxial drivers that Parts Express has. And when I first saw these, my first thought was, oh, man, I got to try those drivers. I've been wanting to try these things. I haven't had a good excuse to buy them yet. And so when I opened the box up and saw that's what they were, because I just thought they were those the full range drivers. There's about a 4-inch driver that I've got some downstairs that I need to use in the build. Yeah. So I thought these were just full range drivers. And I get them and I see that it's got two sets of terminals on it. I'm all like, yes, it's the coaxials. I was really pumped. And I've been looking forward to trying out the smaller Tang Band driver. Usually I've got a Tang Band W6 sitting over here. Now the amp is interesting. Rob is the same amp as mine, I think. It's got a volume control, a treble control, a bass control, a crossover control, and then it's got an equalizer on the highs, on the very highs. It's a shelf filter, I think is what it said. And what's really cool about that is you can tune this sucker, right? And that's nice, right? Being able to tune this thing. And I like that a whole lot. The passive radiator I've actually used in the build, so I enjoy that passive radiator. As far as the build itself goes, I'll say again what Rob said. It's really important that you follow the frickin' directions. All right, the directions are accurate. I did the same thing Rob did, and I did it because I was afraid I couldn't get my hands in the thing after the fact. But when I got it all together, I was all like, oh, look, there's plenty of room. There's no less room with it closed off and open, because that big 8-inch passive radiator hole in the back, plenty of room, guys, plenty of room. So if you buy one of these kits, you do definitely want to follow the directions.
That's your access.
Yeah, I mean, the directions were right. Here's the back of it. I got the Sound Advice logo on one side and my logo on the other, and that's that passive radiator. I also struggle.
Justin, I just want to say, I think the reason why you lost is because you didn't put Hi-Fi Vega and my logo on there as well. I think if you would have won at least one of the awards.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But it was a fun build. As far as let me go back to the other screen here. Let me close this. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay.
Yep. I already shut you off.
All right. So, a couple of things about the build process. I had a really hard time getting my crossover in the enclosure, and the crossover on this sucker is gnarly. It is not a simple second order, two-way crossover. I lost count of the amount of parts on this crossover. This was a lot of parts on this crossover, and I did most of the soldering off camera because I was struggling to get laid out and positioned and everything. And I really, the crossover is pretty gnarly. I wouldn't recommend this for someone who's never soldered up a crossover before. Rob, how was your crossover?
I got an assist from Nick on my crossover because originally, and this is something I mentioned in my video, if you don't build crossovers quite often, this is something you might not know, that having the coils in the same direction in the placement that I had them, I did have, like he said, a little bit of noise in the knobs. And he had a suggestion to turn one of them up. I did that, completely solved the problem. So, I mean, if you're not building crossovers every day and you don't think about this stuff, you're just going to have a friend like Nick.
I mean, there's like a rule of thumb, right? If you can look through the inductor and see the other inductor, you're doing it wrong.
Well, he had put both coils like this next to each other, where you want to turn one 90.
90.
You know, like you don't want them like glasses. But Parts Express, actually, when you guys put that directions together, you actually had them turn 90 degrees. So once again, it was, Rob not following your guys' directions, right, Chris?
Oh yeah, with a lot of the kits, when we've got the crossover, the point-to-point diagram, if you actually scale that to the size of, say, one of the capacitors or something, you could actually use that to place the parts down on, because that's how, when I draw them up, that's how I do it. I put the crossover all together and then take a picture of it down and then just trace over the actual image. So,
which is one thing I really like, because you don't have to worry about understanding the crossover diagram, which a lot of people don't understand how to do the diagram.
Right.
So,
now,
try to take the guesswork.
off the show, Nick asked me a question. We jumped on as we were prepping for the show, and he's like, I got to ask. Nick asked the question what was the question you had to ask me?
I said, when did you get a Glowforge? Because, so here's the deal. I guess what everyone was going to do. So what I guessed for Hi-Fi Vega is, I said, I guess you're going to do a sticker box. And then he did a sticker box. And I said, Justin, what you're going to do is you're going to put voltmeters on it. Or, I'm sorry, VU meters on it. And he did. Yeah. He didn't put a VU meter on it, which I was wrong. But 1 for 2, I feel happy. I knew what I was going to do, so I guess I was 2 for 3. But
I didn't even try to guess. There was no way I could predict what these two guys are going to do. They're creative and they're resourceful and they're good at this. And so it's all like, no, I'm not going to try. Y'all are going to surprise me. I'm going to be shocked.
So I was really confused because you did this Glowforge thing, and I'm like, well, what the heck? When did you get a Glowforge?
So I bought that Glowforge in slow, steady monthly payments, and I paid dearly for that Glowforge in the form of my tax dollars. That Glowforge belongs to the local public library system. And my thinking on this was, if you're buying one of these kits and you're trying to do something special, right? I mean, what Nick did is, I was way up there, man. I mean, that was way up there. But most people aren't going to be able to go way up there like that. How can you do something special? And the answer is, look at the resources in your community. Look for maker spaces. See where you can find a resource. And I called the library up and I get the Glowforge guy, and he's like, "Yeah, we bought this thing. It's expensive and nobody uses it. And if no one uses it, we're going to be pissed away all the taxpayer money." Not his exact words. He was extremely helpful and excited that someone wanted to come use the Glowforge, and was just like everything I needed. He was like full service custom Glowforge. All I had to do was bring the image in, and he just took care of me. In fact, I'm thinking I'm planning on giving the box to the DIY audio teenager, and if he decides he doesn't want it, I'm gonna give it to that guy.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they were all like, "Oh, when you put the YouTube video up, can we share it?" Yes, you can share my YouTube video. I would love everyone in the county to watch it. That would be great. Oh, yes.
We all are raising our hand. So, and we like that about yours, is because I think anyone could really do something like you did, or a Hi-Fi Vega did. And there's other community resources I think people aren't aware of. So there's places called like maker spaces, which you can be part of as well. If you don't have a lot of tools, they're usually in bigger cities, like Nashville, Memphis, other cities and other states that are big, Boston, things like that. There's someone that said they had one, but it disappeared 2 years ago. But the point is you can do those things, and you're able to do those, and it doesn't cost you anything but $20,000 in tax money. But well, makerspaces actually do cost you money, but that's pretty cool. My library does not offer anything like that. My library barely offers books. So,
and I want to say this real quick. This is I don't know how well y'all can see that on camera. I had a snafu, and the thing you got to remember is things just go wrong in shipping. Right. And I don't, when I get a broken part from someone, I don't go, I'm not mad at them, because things just happen in shipping. I've had jobs stowing boxes for a living. My brother drives a truck for UPS. Things get broken. And my first thought was, I bet I can bend it back. And then I reached out to I'm blanking on the guy's name that we've been working with.
James.
And
James, yeah.
Yeah, James. And he was all like, "Oh, I'll get it right out to you." And the thing is, that's just how Parts Express's customer service is. I don't think they rushed it out. I mean, obviously it was important, but there you go. El Fuego's got it right.
And he knows I got no assist because no one likes me. So.
And El Fuego is one of my patrons, and so he has seen. I went and did some test piece at the library, and so he knew what I was up to from the very beginning. So he's been keeping it secret for me. So thank you, El Fuego.
So I'm going to show you. This is a Tang Band speaker, and the reason why he says it's Tang Band speakers. I love Tang Band speakers. You guys know that, but I mean, shipping wise, they're not the greatest as far as what do you want to call this? As far as I don't know, packaging. Yeah, I mean that's it. Like that's all the safety you have. A couple of cardboard pieces. So when he says, things go wrong with shipping, it's nothing Parts Express does wrong. It's nothing. I mean, a lot of the time, driver manufacturers really do cheap shipping, and people always say to me, like, why do you care when you get a driver in that has really good packaging? It's because this is how most people package their products, and I want to make sure that when I get a product, it's really so. I like seeing good packaging, even though there's nothing wrong with this packaging. It's just not top of the line like Wavecore or some of the other.
Oh, right. A lot of times you'd be surprised how much packaging is going to end up adding to the price of a driver, too.
I believe that, actually. Yeah.
All right, Nick. So tell us all about how you cheated on your boombox.
Cheated. So I'm going to tell you, I want to first tell you that, first of all, I'm going to tell you two things. One, I did use a CNC. Two, I think you could do pretty much everything I did without a CNC, minus maybe the honeycomb pattern, but you could have done another really cool pattern. All you really need is a couple scrap pieces and a couple pattern bits or something for your router where you can, go along and make a template. So I think you could do something like I did. And I'm not going to say it would be easy. It's going to be time consuming. It's going to take time, but you could, because all I'm doing is making holes and filling them with epoxy basically. So you could do that. Now here's the deal. I did use the CNC, and why I don't think it's cheating is because I went through 4 different tops before I finally got one that came out right. I'm like, for crying out loud. and that was before I did test pieces. So I had like 5 or 6 things. I'm like, for crying out loud, I'm going to pay it for another boombox and just materials. But
no, it looks awesome though.
Well, thank you. But
it's worth the work.
But that was so. Some of the things I would have learned, if I wish I would have learned, is I could have glued the box all together and then done I would have had to do the epoxy on top first, because after I did the epoxy on top, I brought it back to the CNC and basically shaved off a really small layer to be able to, so they could shine through. Otherwise, you left the layer of MDF on the bottom, because when you pour the epoxy, you want it to, pull. Exactly. You don't want it to just go through, and it would have, all those hexagon pieces would have been like completely, they wouldn't have looked like it did. Let's put it that way. So I did that, but the rest of the other pieces, I just put painter's tape on the back when I poured the epoxy, and it came right off afterwards. So that worked out. Yeah. You turned a $200 boombox into an $800 boombox. I'm not sure who he's talking to, but I think all of us did. Well, maybe, I don't know. Mine was only $130. So.
and now, Nick, I got a question about yours. We had to build our own crossovers, and so 2 questions. 1, tell me about the crossover in the MK Boom, and 2, tell me about like what was all in the kit.
So this is what I was going to tell you. Like, everything comes with the kit with the MK Boom. And everything is plug and play except for one thing. You do have to solder the speaker wires, not to the amplifier. The amplifier also has wires that come to it, but you have to solder the input to the crossover. The crossover is already assembled to the wires on that come with the amplifier, which just plug in. They're JST terminal. Everything is plug and play besides that. So it's really soldering 4 wires together and you're done. The only thing I didn't like about it, well, there's a couple gripes that I had about it. The first thing is, Chris, you guys made that hole way too tight in the back, like where you put the amplifier and stuff.
Where the amp goes.
Yeah. Also,
I've heard
the directions are non-existent, which I understand is plug and play. So you really don't need directions as long as, you pretty much can't screw it up because it's all plug and play.
I kind of agree. That's one that we really need to dig in and redo the instruction manual for it. Because that is, I'd say, probably the most beginner kit that we've got. And there's a lot to be desired on the manual for that one.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I felt like the miss was, because it's aimed to be a beginner kit, but the lack of instructions make it almost, because it's basically just one page that tells you how to glue the box together and then a couple words about the wiring, and that's about it. I didn't mind. I've used those amplifiers numerous times, so I knew how to wire it and everything. But also the way that they plug in, they use like basically computer standoffs, but much taller.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was going to block my design, Chris. You guys didn't think about that. So I had to like lay them inside the cavity, which actually
really
fit better. Yeah, I think they actually fit better that way. I mean, the only problem is
you're not messing with all the wires through the hole and everything. Yeah,
exactly. So
someone had a question about pricing on the kit. Deviant for Life said, but before he goes and uses our code to get his discount, he wants to know how much these things are.
Mine was $130. Well, Chris, do you know how much they all are?
Mine was $250.
The MK Boom's $130, and the Blast Box and the Executive, they're both $250.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think you can save $10 if you don't get the battery pack.
I think it's $10 without the batteries.
I would like to hear it with the upgraded battery pack, because
you get a couple more dB out of it. A little bit more headroom.
That's what you need.
It's not bad.
And they ask me how many dBs I need. I just say yes.
Yeah, more.
That's what I want to point out, guys, about these kits. Right? These kits are absolutely, without a doubt, complete kits. My kit came with wire. My kit came with. I put the crossover boards on something. You need something to put your crossover on. That's the only thing I can think of you need. If you don't mess anything up, because I'm terrible at crimping. Every time I crimp, I say, "Why am I crimping? Get the soldering iron out." But unless you mess up your crimps, you've got enough crimps to do the entire thing. There wasn't anything I needed to add unless I broke something, which meant I needed to add a few things to it, because I always break something. Because the kit it's complete, right? So if you are trying to get into this, if you know how to solder, you can get one of these no problem. And the thing about the next one, the MK Boom, it is perfect if you've never done anything like this before, because you don't need to cut, you don't need to solder. All you got to do is put it together.
And basically, people ask what it sounds like. It sounds like the MK Boom speakers in a boombox. So if you've heard the MK Boom speakers, that's what it sounds like, because that's basically all it is, right?
Oh, yeah, Chris? That's all it is. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, and you can put a handle on it. You don't have to get the one with battery. Like, I don't think I would ever use MK Boom on batteries myself personally, but that's just not what I do. So that was my only biggest thing with the MK Boom was that. Otherwise, I think if I did it again, I would have probably glued it all together and one time, and then it was hard to do with all the LEDs and stuff. I had to do a couple.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
I think that like your designs are more for stationary. The way you guys done yours, it's just meant to sit somewhere. And
no, I'm gonna bring. I said I probably wouldn't. Mine's supposed to go out on your lawn at night and boom and light it up, so you don't. You're like, oh yeah, look at my box.
And you'll hold it like this.
You won't trip over it. Like Chris said, you're not gonna trip over it.
Don't run over it with your lawnmower.
And if you get lost, you can do what Hi-Fi said. Just walk around and look.
You do like this.
Yeah.
And you got the handle.
Dude,
it's a boombox. You guys basically built
That subwoofer's gonna knock you out.
You built Amazon Echoes, basically.
All right, so here's the deal. So that's all the boombox stuff that we got. But Chris has already said that he would vote for Hi-Fi Vega, and I want to throw. Sorry, Justin, but if I were to vote on anyone else other than myself, I would vote for Hi-Fi Vega too. I loved it. I thought it was really cool looking. It brought me back kind of to like the skate park surf style days of the 80s, like when we all kind of grew up. It's just a cool thing. Or that real junker car that you see with all the bumper stickers. One of those things is what it brought me back to. And I liked that. I thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah. His complete Rob yours completely fits
What is up with Scott, man?
The idea when I designed that kit.
I would say, finishes aside, which kit would you individually choose?
Well, actually, first let's ask Chris. Chris, what do you think of all of these, and which one would you choose? Which one do you think sounds the best? Why would you choose one over the other?
Well, I don't know. I'm kind of biased. I designed the blast box.
Oh, well, no wonder.
And that's kind of my favorite. But
oh, well, no wonder you chose Hi-Fi Vega. Never mind. Yours doesn't count anymore.
Okay, so you can't pick Rob's. So who would you pick? No, I'm kidding. Don't please don't, because I don't want to. I don't know. It's another contest. I have gotten my ass handed to me. This is.
It's the. I'm not the type of guy that sits around the house and listens to music very often. So, where I look at the MK Boom and the Executive, they're really designed for that purpose. You can take them with you, but ideally, the way everything's laid out, you put the thing on a shelf, and it just makes a nice office or bedroom system. I call those tabletop stereos. Where the blast box, it's a boom box. That thing, it's got rising high end above 10K. It's built for off-axis response. You throw the thing out in the field and just walk away from it, and it's just, to me, it's more convenient.
I like that. So you said it actually has a rising response after 10K. So you get a lot more. You can go a lot more off-axis and still get those highs.
Right.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and I think my pick would be between the blast box and the Executive. I really like the coaxial speakers on the Executive, but I don't know how the bass output is. If the bass output's similar, I might skew towards the Executive.
They're better. Almost identical.
Chris,
as far as the low end goes.
Did you guys add any weight to the passive radiator on the Executive?
Should have been. I think 3-4 washers, something like that.
I want to say there were 5 in the bag, and I put 3 of them, maybe 4 of them. I don't remember. I was in a hurry because I was up against the deadline. And I just throw some damn washers on there and get it done. So I've got the advantage of having built 2 of the 3 and listened to 2 of the 3. And I'm not going to say that the MK Boom is a bad boom box. I am going to say that the MK Boom doesn't have any bass.
That's not true. It has bass to a point. Yeah. I mean, but they're 4-inch speakers, so it has 4-inch speakers.
Yeah. And right. And so as long as you understand that when you buy the MK Boom, and if you're someone who doesn't have tools and you want to build one of these things, that's a great place to start. But the difference in the bass output between the Executive and the MK Boom is worth the extra $120.
Yeah. I've never heard of the Executive. I would go with the Executive most likely, or I'd go with one of the other ones. Here's the way I look at it. I think the MK Boom is great. And for $130, I don't think you can go wrong with it. I really don't. There's a lot of competition in the $130 range too, though. So, some people might like the smaller things that are offered in $130, but I believe in the $130 range, this offers decent bass for the $130 range, especially with no EQ or anything.
And it's a fun project. And that's, you build these because they're fun projects.
But I would agree with you. I'd go with either the Executive or the blast box. I'd probably go with the Executive just because I love that W5 woofer, and I've never really used the 6-inch Arts Express one. So I would only go with the Executive because of that reason.
I will say that this blast box, the bass response on this is pretty impressive. Whenever I've done some tests. I mean, outside you can even hear the bass, but especially in this room, I mean, it is echoing through the house, and I've got sound deadening all in here to try to stop some of that, and a big, large sound dampening door blanket on the other end, and you can still hear it through all that pretty good.
Yeah, the house for a boombox, they can hit ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'm really happy with the bass output on the Executive. It does the bass output right.
Hey, look, Parts Express dropped on by.
Hey,
who's running your channel there? Who is that?
That's James.
No idea.
yeah.
It's probably James. Hey,
Hi,
James.
Yeah, I will say though that
Or
like,
Viv,
Nick's
or
box, like
whoever.
the MK Boom, it lines up well. Like if you're gonna buy something, like a Beats pill or something like that's that price range, you're gonna get a lot more performance out of an MK Boom than you will any pre-made thing.
And you can add epoxy to it, which just is cool.
That's right. The epoxy
Yeah,
and LED
yeah.
lights. And
LED lights.
And I think that's really where this comes in, is you can put your own flair. And the thing that's really cool is we did not plan this. We told each other, everyone do whatever you want. Hi-Fi Vega did something completely different than me. I did something completely different than Justin. We all did something completely different. And I thought that was the coolest part about it, is they all looked completely different when we were done with it. And that's what I think is the neatest part about these types of kits.
The beauty of doing your own speakers is that you can make something no one else has. I've got my home theaters, my 5.1 home theater system. Everything except for the subwoofer is a Tritrix. Mids, rears, towers in the front. There's nobody on the planet who has what I have, because I made them my way with my look, and they're one of a kind originals.
That actually depends. That depends on two things. One, did the library keep your files? And two, can you tell me where the library is?
It's okay if they kept the files. I can't imagine why someone would want to print the Executive on the side of a speaker, or my logo for that matter. If they use my logo, I'm suing them. That's straight up going right after them. I'm not going to protect my copyright. Can't afford a lawyer, but I'll do it anyway. It's just a spite, right? Anyway, that's fine. But I got off the rails, didn't it? But you can make it your own, right? And that's, why should you do one of these kits? You should do one of these kits if you want to make something your own.
All right. So I think we talked enough about the boom boxes, because Chris has some really cool stuff in the
Chris,
back.
go.
We're going to get to, but before we get to that, we all want to know Chris, and so we got to ask Chris a very important question. Dayton, Ohio, which is where Parts Express is. Actually, it's Springsboro, but it's right on the border of Dayton, right?
yeah. Yeah,
So-
just south of Dayton.
Just south of Dayton. Dayton, Ohio just got one of the greatest restaurants known to mankind. And Jeff knows of this restaurant. And me and Jeff both have a huge affinity for this restaurant. And so we have to know if you've ever been there. And it's called Giordano's.
Oh, pizza.
Yes. No, not just. No, it's not Giordano. Giordano's Chicago style pizza.
Right.
There's a
I
difference.
haven't been to the one here in the area yet, but I went to one up in Chicago.
Did you get deep dish? Chicago style deep dish?
Yep.
You don't sound too impressed.
It was all right. It was a casserole.
What? A
Well-
casserole? My feelings are very hurt, but it's all right.
No. I mean, it was different. Here in Dayton, we have our own style of pizza that's real thin, tiny sausage chunks, square slice, little itty bitty slices, and I'm just a huge fan of it. Yeah, look at that.
This sounds very, very good.
But yeah, there's a couple local chains, Casano's and Marion's, and it's the same style of pizza. And I don't know, that's just kind of that's what I like.
So just so everyone else knows, when you bite into Chicago style, it's like this much cheese on it, and when you bite into it, it just strings for days. It's like the most amazing thing you've ever taken. It's like a waterfall of cheese that comes down, and it is amazing. What? Who?
Oh God, the thing's
this
like an
has
inch
to
and a
be.
half thick.
This has to be like James Marion's Pizza for like. I hear he has bad food choices. I'm just kidding. I'm only kidding.
There's some people here local that they're not even a fan of our style of pizza. It's that thin, crunchy crust. It's good stuff there.
What do you guys say? Pineapple, yes or no?
Pineapple, no.
Oh, I do pineapple.
Yeah, pineapple's good.
Yeah, it's fine.
No
I
problems
like
with that.
pineapple, but not on pizza.
Yeah. I'll eat anything on pizza except the fish.
That's a good place too, but that's you're gonna get in Illinois. Harris Pizza.
The way I look at it, bad pizza is better than no pizza. So I'll take pizza if I can have it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm very sad now that what the heck, Jesse? I used to like you. I keep things to yourself.
I've had Giordano's myself, and it is pretty good. But I actually I like the crust better than the rest of the pizza.
Yeah,
it's like a buttery, soft cake type of crust.
Yeah, to me, the crust was a lot like Pizza Hut used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
or how we remember it anyways.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Yeah. And when you hear what they call pizza pie, it's a pie. It's a pie. It's a pie. It's thick and it has another crust on top. It's pizza pie. All right. That's enough about pizza. You guys All right, Chris, you have some really cool things behind you. So I'm going to just let you talk about whatever you want to. None of us are even going to talk. We're just going to sit here like robots and let you talk for the next 20 minutes.
Oh God.
No, we'll bite in, but yeah.
I said, well, I'm out. No. Yeah, we've got a couple new lines of drivers coming out. I don't know. I'll start with the budget stuff.
I like how you call it budget stuff. I mean, look at that thing. It's huge.
Yeah, that doesn't look budget.
That doesn't look budget at all. Yeah.
This is it's one of our new Max X subwoofers. This is the 10-inch. We've also got a 12 and a 15 coming out. But they're essentially, it's our first kind of directed for car audio line assist drivers. Yeah, they have dual 4-ohm coils. Actually, might be dual 2-ohm.
Oh, I like
dual 2-ohm coils. What was that?
Can you just show the front again?
The cone.
I like the cone. Yeah,
that looks very nice. You call that budget? How much? Yeah. How much of a budget?
It depends. If you're a multimillionaire, it's budget.
Because budget, everyone's budgets are everything's budget. It's just like whose budget.
Let's see. The 10 is going to be 119. 98. The 12 is 150, and the 15 is going to be 200.
Wow, that's really cheap.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Budget, yeah.
That's actually cheaper than the Ultimax, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's considerably cheaper than Ultimax. Well, percentage wise.
Oh yeah.
Talk specs.
All built for high excursion. The 10-inch, if I remember right, we had it clippled at 70% BL at 14 millimeters, plus or minus 14 millimeters. The 12, I believe, was 17, and the 15 was 20, maybe 21. I don't have the specs in front of me right now, but
close enough. I mean,
they
want to know what the power handling is. That's nice enough. I mean, anywhere like close in that vicinity is huge. A 15-inch that has 21 millimeters that's really high excursion.
Oh yeah. For the price, they're beasts. Let's see.
Yeah, they're wondering about power handling, and they didn't say sensitivity, but RMS power handling, they should say, because they don't want you to use that fake peak power handling.
2,000 watts peak.
Yeah. One time.
Right, one time. When lightning strikes. I know I had an email with power handling on it.
Chris, while you're thinking that, doesn't that amplifier that they used, does it have an adjustable high and low pass on it? The 2.1 amplifier?
You can adjust it
has an adjustable low pass.
Low pass, right.
Not high pass. Okay.
There's a switch for the high pass. It's fixed. It's actually stashed right behind one of the knobs.
Got you.
Actually, speaking of that.
But that would work, Love Puppy. That particular amplifier would work. Unless you have to have crazy
Speaking of that switch, on Hi-Fi Vega, when I was watching your video, I noticed those 4s were working pretty hard.
Yeah.
Did you flip the switch on the amp to turn on the high pass?
I might not have.
All right.
I might not have.
Just curious.
Well,
I think it's right behind.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Right up towards the top of it.
Yeah.
Yep. I did flip it because I did
the
read
same
that.
amp, right?
Yes.
Oh, there's a switch.
I read.
Switch.
I skimmed the instructions.
Skim the manual.
And I did
missed
see
that.
that, so I did. Flip that.
We already know you skimmed the instruction manual. You've kind of admitted that already.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have to admit it because they just know I don't play by the rules.
Well, actually, Deviant for Life called you a rookie.
Yeah, one thing I will mention on this box is this is something I didn't see that took me a while to figure out. You have to be disconnected from Bluetooth source to turn this off. Because while it's hooked it up to the Bluetooth source, you cannot turn it off. It only skip back.
I've recently discovered that if you pause it, then hold down the button, it'll turn off.
Okay.
But
I'll
the
try
whole time
that.
I've been using it up until about a month ago, that's how I always had to do it. Just turn off Bluetooth, then
Yeah.
turn it off.
So Jesse is saying these dudes didn't read the instructions at all. Love it. And yeah, you know when you have a true DIYer because they're not going to read the instructions. They're going to be like, I know how to do this. What are you talking about? It's just it's a couple pieces of wood and some things, and then you get something that looks a little different, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
It
have
goes
stocks.
the other one way, right?
It's like Legos, audio Legos. You just do it.
I mean, when you've done this a couple of times, you mostly know how it goes together.
Right.
So that has a dual ferrite magnet on it. And did you say the 15 had a three ferrite magnet?
Triple stack, yeah.
Triple stack ferrite magnet
Wow.
on it.
It's let's see.
And for $200 with a triple stack magnet with shipping, that's a good price.
What size coil does that have? Is that like a 2.5 inch or a 3-inch coil?
I think they're all 2.5, and I want to say the 10 is 400 or 500 watts, and the 12 is like 600, and the 15 I think is 800 watts RMS.
Did you see what Brian said? Maybe the secret to winning the competition was buried in the instructions.
Possibly.
I guess I was the only one that read the instructions. Actually, we don't know.
Well, Nick won. He only had one page.
Yeah.
Mine was easier to read. Well, we actually haven't checked. I'll check here in a minute to see who won the competition because I didn't.
And Chris, I wouldn't rewrite the instructions for the MK Boom. I would just link people to my video because I did a very thorough job of showing the build process and walking around the amplifier and showing where all the connections were. So you don't need to
He's
rewrite
trying to
the manual. Just
Jedi
send
mind
everybody to
trick
me.
you right now. This is the Jedi mind trick. These are not the droids you're looking for.
Oh, look at that. Essex, UK, guys. Stephen Gardner. We're going to give you a shout out just because you're really far away, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Unless that's like somewhere in Georgia that we just don't realize. But I'm going to think it's United Kingdom.
But yeah, these Max X drivers are nice. We custom tooled the surround, so it's got the tall, slim surround. That's just to save, get more cone surface area to get the efficiency back up.
Yeah, are they pretty efficient for a subwoofer? What are they like? 87, 85?
Well, it goes up as the size goes up. Let me open that back up again.
Whoa! Thank you, Robbie Hansen. Super sticker. Thank you, Robbie. We appreciate that. Robbie is my longtime friend from Illinois. We do enjoy Happy Joe's pizza as well, which was taco pizza. Very, very good taco pizza from Happy Joe's. And they had a play area when we were kids. That was cool. When we're adults, it's not as much cool because those tubes got smaller.
Thank you, Robbie. Thank you, Robbie. It's epic of you to do that for us. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Robbie. That was awesome.
Let's see, efficiency. Now with the coils wired in series for 4 ohm load, the 10 is 84 dB, 12 is 86.5.
Oh, that's really good.
And 15 is just about 89, 87 point. Looks like
wow, that's
8.
pretty good.
Yep.
Can we get an FS on those?
Yep.
What? Jesse? Yes, we can be friends again, although we still have to work on that Chicago style a little. But yeah, Happy Joe's taco and Canadian bacon is awesome. Yes, we can. I have no idea how he knows about Happy Joe's, but it's awesome, along with Whitey's ice cream. And Hungry Hobo is also excellent over there.
Not sure if these specs were pulled off a broken in driver or not, but the specs I've got right offhand is 25 for the 10.
Whoa, that's great.
And the 12 and the 15 are both 26, which, like I said, I don't know if they're broken in because it was. I know that 15, the target was 19 hertz, so I'm not sure if these are the final specs or some preliminary ones.
The only solution to that problem, since both Nick and I have a DATS and Rob's saying he wants to get one, is to send us all a woofer and let us break it in and run the DATS on it so that we can do it for you.
Yeah,
what size?
Well, the 15, obviously. Honestly, I think so. Some people don't like the no dust cap. I love that no dust cap because I have kids. And those dust caps get pushed in all the time. That nice no dust cap is, for me, like a huge selling point.
Yeah, I like the low profile or the thin profile surround because I'm more of a cone area guy versus just, a lot of car subwoofers have big surrounds because in car audio, the way we get past the physics is overpower. Power's cheap. We can use enough power to make up the difference in efficiency. But I like running an efficient system. I never run over 1,500 watts max in my car. And typically it's around 600 watts to 1,000. So, and I like the dual 2-ohm option as well because I'm a single driver guy. I like to run just one driver, not a pair. And you could go 1 or 4 ohms. So almost covers almost every amp. And
you were talking about that. You were talking about that on the Ultimax. That's one of the things you didn't. I think it was it Ultimax or was it? No, it was. Well, one of them
that was me. The dual 2-ohm. You can't. I mean, it would be cool if you had more options in the coils. Dual 4 ohms are kind of standard for car audio, so you can go to a 1 ohm with 2 drivers. But it's all good.
No, I like the dual 4 ohm because you can buy 2 of them and get it up to 2 ohm if you want to in your car, or you can do the dual, do 1 ohm, with just one of them. I think it's great. I would rather have it's pretty.
If you do the dual 2 ohm, you can use 4 drivers to get a 1 ohm load.
Right.
You cannot do that with 4 dual 4s.
More is better.
Yeah, but El Fuego says you're in trouble because you can't do much with your CCA wire.
Oh, yes, I can. Hey, that CCA wire is rated for 275 amps.
Here's the deal. I love the Max X, and I want to ask you, as far as value goes, what's the difference between them and the Ultimax? If you can because a lot of people know the Ultimax line. Like a lot of people go with the Ultimax because the Ultimax is pretty good, right? Because it can do free air, especially in a car. Some people run those free air in the car, or infinite baffle, whatever you want to call it. But what do you think? Like what? Obviously,
the Ultimax is going to have more for distortion control. It's got. I want to say it's a copper shorting ring for sleeve. This cone's a little more rigid. Not a little more, that you could flip the cone upside down and stand on it and you won't damage the thing. I've done it. But
the Ultimax,
the 18-inch cone, we've had some return that were just destroyed, and we ripped the dust cap off the cone or the voice coil off the cone, and you could just stand on it. It won't flinch.
It is important to note, though, that Chris only weighs 100 pounds. So
no, that was before COVID. I put on some weight.
Pre-COVID, post-COVID, maybe a little more. Okay, gotcha.
We've been eating bigger breakfasts.
We've all been eating better since COVID.
And the Ultimax is also designed, more for efficiency. It is going to be a more efficient driver. They're optimized for larger cabinets, lower overall F3s. Since this is more of a car audio woofer, most car audio woofers, they get away with lower VAS and ridiculously stiff suspensions.
Yeah,
this one's getting away with it's doing the smaller cabinets with a lower QTS and a looser suspension. So it's not, in a lot of ways, this isn't going to be the standard drive or car audio subs, but it's got 2 spiders, but they're not ridiculously stiff like you'll find on a lot of cheap car subs. That's good. A little looser. It's more for linearity. It's they're not stacked on top of each other. They're spaced apart. I wouldn't say a centimeter, maybe a little less, but we kind of took a different I guess, a different approach on a budget car stereo sub.
Well,
Most
in
of them are-
a car sub, you're not right. In a home sub, you're right there with it a lot of times. On a car sub, sometimes it's most of the time it's facing away from you. It's either up or back, and you're hearing it. So you can get away with a little more harmonic distortion. A little bit more distortion in the sub.
Yeah, you're tracking down rattles to no end, and
yeah,
as soon as you finish it, you find a new one. So it's there's a lot to a car sub that it's just kind of a different beast, really.
So I'm going to be honest. I love the idea of subs. I mean, I myself, I push mine with an iNuke 6000 right now, which is, what I use. That thing, by the way, ridiculous fans. I got mine replaced, but ridiculous fans. If you look to buy, but man, everything for amplifiers on the high on those type of amplifiers have gone through the roof. I feel like. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. What I do want to say though is the other cool thing that you have the Epic drivers behind you. I really want to talk about those because those have the M-Mag motor structure, and to me, I'm really excited about those because one of the things that I love the most are the Tank Band W5. Love that. Everyone knows that I love that subwoofer. And you have told me, I hope this is okay, sure, that you feel like these are on par with the Purify, but at a much cheaper price.
They'll may not quite match them in every way, but they're sitting pretty close. Distortion's about as low, response is similar. I think in some ways these may even be easier to work with.
Oh, those look underhung from here.
Yeah, it's an M-Mag motor it's a dual gap design. A lot of people are familiar with the XPL, but this one, try to get the light on it there. Boy, this mirror image is messing me up. It's got a top plate and then a second top plate, and they're spaced out with magnets. So unlike an XPL, you can push the plates a little further apart on this.
Are those just ferrite? Are those little ferrite magnets? Then?
Yeah, they're little ferrites. Neo's gone up a lot, so we stuck with ferrite on this one. A Neo version would be nice, but we wanted to, again, make these inexpensive. But it's nice because with an XPL motor, a lot of times the top plate actually ends up with a little less flux or motor force than the bottom plate. So people will offset the coils a little bit to keep everything symmetrical. With this and these, I guess they're calling them bucking magnets, but these magnets keep the force symmetrical between the two top plates. So you get the coil right in the middle and literally really optimize the excursion capability.
So if I was to break that down for some people that are listening that may not understand exactly what you said, technically, is the more power you put into it, the BL can change depending on the way that you make your motor or design your motor. And the way that you guys have designed it, the BL is actually pretty linear no matter basically how much the power you put into it.
Right. With any other driver, the second you put power into it, you're losing efficiency. The more power you put into it, the less you're ideally you want 3 dB, per doubling of power. You're not getting that. You never get that. And then the harder you drive it, a lot of drivers, once you're getting near the limits of the X Max, you're only gaining a dB and a half. It's more compression than anything. So
now, typically, to get a driver that can do that, it's very expensive.
Right. Yeah. Real expensive.
But you're saying the Epic is actually quite affordable, correct? Oh, and El Fuego, guys. Thank you, El Fuego. Parts Express. What's the next Sound Advice Parts Express build off? We can't tell you that. Actually, because we don't know.
We really can't tell you that.
I do want to do another one, though.
Oh, well, there you go, guys. They actually liked our builds. All right. And they like you guys. Oh, let me give you that coupon code again, just in case anyone came in late. So tell us about, what do you think, like the price on something like, and that's not a subwoofer, but it can hit subwoofer depths. It's actually considered a mid-range, right?
When we started building them, they were going to be subwoofers, but they were also going to come out about a year ago. Then COVID hit, everything got delayed, so we just had extra time to refine them. And I mean, these things, the 7-inch is like board flat almost up to 2000 hertz.
Wow, that's great.
And then the off axis is also flat to 2000 hertz. So the 7-inch would be great for a two-way. The the 5.5 inch is again just crazy flat up to 3,000, and that's right where the off-axis roll-off starts to happen too. So yeah, they're not subwoofers. They could be subwoofers still, but
but that's the good thing, because when we're talking about doing a two-way, like most people want something that can really do bass as well in like a nice two-way system, but it's hard to find a driver that can give you that low bass, but also extend well into that frequency where you can get that nice even response to be able to cross over without having to spend ridiculous amounts on a tweeter or going to some type of compression.
Oh yeah. With this little guy, I'm imagining a two-way that's your standard bookshelf size that could probably do about 100 dB at 30 hertz.
Wow. You mean 30?
Which is nuts.
30 hertz? Really?
Yeah. You know, it's looking at.
I imagine those in the doors with some range point reference.
So, obviously,
how deep is your door?
I can make adjustments.
Almost square.
So obviously, these cost $500 each, right?
Oh no, much less. You're about 5 times the price.
Okay, so how much? What do you think a 5 1/4 inch would cost? Around estimated guess.
This 5.5 or these epics. The 5.5. I'm checking just to make sure I get it right. Couldn't show the price on the list. Give me a second. Yep, 5.5 is going to be right around $100, and the 7-inch.
Dang, that's a really good price.
Yeah.
And let's just clarify. I mean, this is a guesstimate. This is not like firm pricing. So if you jump on their website, is that correct, Chris? This is
they're not out yet.
Pretty firm.
Well, I mean, but you can't hold Chris to this if you get on there and it's like he's missed it by a couple of dollars or something. Okay, I mean that would be uncool. So I mean, so you know.
Yeah, email Chris Perez at partsexpress.com or something.
I watched this guy on YouTube and he said he worked for.
But yeah, the 5 inches 100 going to be right around 100, and the 7-inch is going to be 120. So
wow,
that's actually not much more to go up to the 7-inch.
No,
It's now I got to ask you because well, first of all, science math. I'm going to ask Chris just in case I'm off, but that's the only things I can think of. But before I ask you that, do they take a large enclosure?
Not necessarily. Right now I've got a design on screen with 5.5, 0.49 cubic foot, so about half cubic foot enclosure with an F3 of 33 hertz.
What did you say? 0.5 cubic foot?
Yeah.
Wow, that's not big at all. Because if you guys know the Dynas are about 3.5 cubic feet or so. I mean, sorry, 0.35 cubic feet. So it's about the same size. I mean, you're not looking at much more to build that. And that's a really good size, especially when you put that in there. Oh yeah, Parts Express said, guys, it's also cheaper if you use the sound advice, the promo code advice, which I'll put there again because he really wants me to put that in there. But Science Matt did
not on the website yet.
Haha. Oh, when should we be expecting those, you think?
Well, since James just posted that, I'm going to try to get them up in the next week or so for maybe pre-order. But
dude, yeah, that would be.
The plan was next month, so.
Maybe he was talking about something else.
Yeah, he was talking about the Epics. They should be up next week.
Oh, the Epics are out.
Or not really? The Epics, but the Max X.
No, the Max. Oh, okay. I was like, really? So he was saying, hey, I was thinking about buying the overnight. I think he meant overnight sensations. To start my first DIY. It comes with almost everything you need. Why not purchase right? I said you might need some binding posts and some wire. I don't. Well, I guess screws too. Really, it does. Does it come with screws? I don't think it does.
You know what? The last couple months, I've been adding screws, wire, and binding posts to a lot of kits. I don't know if I got to the overnight sensation yet.
I know that the boomboxes we done, mine had literally everything.
Right. Yeah, those when I when we did the executive and blast box, it took so much different things that it kind of had to have everything. It's, three different size screws in that thing.
Yeah.
The little cuts of wire, different types of wire to work with the battery board. You need solid core wire, solid conductor.
Oh yeah, I learned that out the hard way. Didn't read the instructions. Once again.
So
You're not getting stranded in those
wire.
connectors.
Is that? I've got a question for you, or a comment about the wire. I found the speaker wire was a little bit on the large side and had a difficult time getting inside the terminals because the terminals are down inside the box and you can't really see it that well. So you're just kind of jamming in there and hoping it works. I think you could probably go down a gauge in speaker wire for that box.
Did you tin the wire?
No, I did not tin the wire. That would have made life easier. But.
You mean the binding post terminals?
Yeah, inside the box, right?
Inside the we'll consider it.
You could probably a size down probably wouldn't hurt the performance a bit for those short runs of wire.
I can't remember what it comes with. It might be 14 gauge, which that is.
I think it was 16.
16.
Was it
Mine come with
16?
16. Yeah, mine seemed fine, but.
And when you're going blind, which you almost are, the second you get your hand in there, it's in the way. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, wire management is even in this, which is much bigger than the boxes you guys have. I still had a little trouble, so I just kind of looked at the instructions. The one time I did look at them, I was like, okay, I'm just going to kind of go with what they did and zip tie it up in that way.
Heck yeah. On mine, my blast box, I actually, where the battery or where the DC jack is, on that battery board, there's outputs for LED lights, a charging and a charge light.
That's what I used. That's great, right for the 12 volt out.
I used hot glue to cased a couple of LED lights in hot glue, 2 for charging and 2 red for charging and 2 green for charged. Oh. So as soon as I plug it in, the lights come on. When it's done charging, it just goes. It switches to green. So
yeah, that's cool.
That's actually a cool idea. I misunderstood what you were saying. Mine actually came with the LED lights for that. You're talking about
that's right. Yeah, yours has got everything.
Yeah, mine has everything. I mean, honestly, for $130, you can't really ask for anything else. That's the way I look at it. But it's not going to sound the same as your guys's for sure. But it shouldn't. I mean, it's 130 compared to 250. It should.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
The MK Boom or the MK series drive or speakers, was it MK 402? Those things are pretty nice for what they are for the size. So, yeah, there you go. Uh-huh.
I might be using them as desktop speakers right now.
And the MK Boom is a little bit smaller cabinet, so you're sacrificing a bit of low end.
The original MK442s that you came out with the powered version, I like that you guys gave an ode to James.
With the R2D2 or what was it?
Yeah, it's R2D2 coming out.
Okay.
And then it does the like the lightsaber turning on. Yeah. Apparently, I will tell you, you will not be disappointed, Science Math, if you do that. They are ridiculous speakers for what they do.
Oh yeah, they're little monsters.
Yeah. If you like bass, you'll like those speakers. I might have to send the parts to Justin sometime since he has so many W5s now.
Well, we're over our hours. Should we go to the results?
Yes, let's go to
and just make it final. We've been dragging on. I've known the results since the beginning, but
I honestly did not. I'm going to be honest with you. I really thought Rob was going to win, and I'm not lying to anyone. I'm not even lying to myself. I saw yours and I said, man, there's going to be so many people that love that retro cool look. I showed it to my wife and she's like, no, you won it. And I'm like, you just are not a guy. And I looked at her and I said, no, you're just not a guy. You don't get it, man.
It was close for a while. But then I assumed the amount of work you put in. So we already know that you won, but just show the final results. It was, I will say, a well-deserved victory. Because you put a lot of work in it, and it turned out good.
We'll go ahead and give out the results. First place was me. I'm not going to show the screen. You'll just have to go to the page if you don't believe me. Hi-Fi Vega came in second, and DIY Audio came in third. That just means
I accept this bronze medal with honor. And
you know what that means, Justin, more than anything else? It just means we don't have very many executives that watch our channel.
Well, have you ever seen the meme where the guy gets the third place trophy and he's like throwing the champagne all over his face?
No.
Have you not seen it?
No, I've not.
It'd be like that, yeah.
Oh, here we go. Caleb Greathouse, because Caleb heard them, and he was like, "Holy cow!" Because he heard them at the tent sale. Because Parts Express had them at the tent sale.
Lighting up the corner of the warehouse.
Yeah, Chris, I don't know if you know this, but one guy almost dropped his child. He became my patron actually after that. But because he's like, his mouth hit the floor and he's like, "Are you punking me?" And he said, "Where's the subwoofer hidden?" And I said, "No, it's just those two speakers." He's like, "No, you're lying." I said, "I'm serious." They're pretty cool. If you guys end up wanting to build them, they're fun little speakers. I enjoy them.
Oh yeah. It's fun and convenient design. Yes.
That Parts Express needs to start carrying. All right, guys. No, just kidding with you.
We need the right amp for them.
What?
So we need the right amp for them.
You do. It's your amp. it's the LaPi 2.1.
Yeah, but then it only using one of the.
Yeah, it is.
I hate wasting channels.
I know. I do too. I get that. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for watching today. Everyone give a big shout out and thank you to Chris. He did not have to do this, and I hope Parts Express pays him overtime for this because they should. Even double time, I think.
Yeah.
Is double time enough, Chris, or should it be more than that?
Nah, it's just going to be hourly.
All right, triple time it is, guys.
I'm not into overtime till Friday.
All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. This is Toids DIY Audio, Justin, People's Champ, Hi-Fi Vega, and Chris Perez, which really you need to change that to Chris's Champ. And we're out.
I was going to, but I didn't. Catch y'all later.
Yep. Thanks a lot, guys.